What is going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe tutorials. So this is actually a reshoot, obviously, by the change in attire, and my voice probably sounds a little better than it did in the previous videos. So I know that I've already shot 3 tutorial videos, but I do want to preface the fact that any of this tutorial information that is set saying steel path, okay, for the most part there could be potential spoilers in there, like OP, like specific, mission nodes or entire planetary nodes that may not be viewable in certain respects to early gameplay. But you got to understand, steel path is not meant to fight into the level of early gameplay. That is the second tier of gameplay. Just my personal opinion. So if you come across any spoilers when something is titled steel path, that is on you, okay? But let's talk about survivals, right? Steel path level survivals. Now, I have seen people on Facebook, on Reddit, on a couple of posts here and there on Twitter, people complaining about functional steel path survival builds. And I'm here to tell you, I kind of question it. Like, I do understand finding something tanky enough to handle it for specific gameplay can be a problem. There are players that like to just kind of stand still and take bullets and fire back, and that's kind of how they go. And it's not really a viable playstyle with most frames in this game. Now, you gotta understand, I am a casual Warframe player. I am not an expert of the game by any means. I do not do expert builds. Some of my builds can carry themselves quite far. Some of them I know will fall flat on their fucking faces by design, because I don't give a shit how high in tier they can go as far as level. I care about them surviving the missions that I'm doing, because that's where I have fun. Just for example, health tanking, right? Health tanking is not a viable high level mission playstyle. It's a very easy way to explain it, okay? Shields can only stop so much lethal damage before they regen. If you start taking damage to health, your shields are not going to regen. It's just going to continually hit you to health. Arcane Grace cannot keep up enough at its lowest percentage, at its percentage level, to keep you alive on its own. So even if you use Arcane Blessing and just increase the amount of health, you can take a Naros, for example. If you take Negation Swarm off, you take Adaptation, and you take Arcane Grace off of an Anaros build, you can build that motherfucker for 10 or 11,000 hit points, okay? He's gonna die. Because, even with Arcane Grace, even with Negation Swarm, even with Adaptation, it's not a high-tier sustainable setup. Now, under normal circumstances, you can do one of two things. One's going to involve a bunch of ability casting. Guess what? The other is going to involve a bunch of ability casting. There are 2 specific Helminth abilities that you can put on any fucking Warframe, except for 3 that I can think of off the top of my head: Kalervo, Inaros, and Nidus. The 3, we ain't got no damn shield frames. And you can put Condemn or Pillage on any other frame, and you can basically force overshields, okay? As long as you hit enemies, you force overshields. Now, that is just forced ability cast overshields. Then there is shield gating. Shield gating is a whole different ball of wax. For those who understand and know the game quite well, you guys understand exactly how shield gating works. It's very simple. It's basically actually reducing your shields, what sounds crazy, but shields are designed to basically absorb, depending on how much shields you have, but they're designed to absorb lethal damage, okay? Shield gating, when your shields break, you get a moment of invulnerability, and using a few different setups like Brief Respite, Arcane Aegis, things like this, you basically, during the point of casting abilities, you actually regen your shields right back up. So you can lose your shields, become invulnerable for a short period while you're casting abilities, and you just keep on trucking that way. If something can kill you, but then there's something in the game designed to keep you from being exposed to said something from killing you by stopping said lethal damage, that's really the better way to go. Now, I'm not a preferable shield gate player. I'm really not. I'm more into forced ability, shield casting, Pillage and Condemn specifically. I can show you, for example, I've got a Health Tank Frost build. I can tell you that I know that this is not a viable high-tier, high-level play. I'll probably take it up there, but it's going to be a lot of casting Condemn. What this is very simple, and this is what I'm talking about with not so sustainable builds, because this actually does come into place for survivals, because people use mostly disruptions, void cascades. Some people do use survivals. They do take longer to get to level cap. And survivals are a pain in the ass because of the life support drop issues that happen from time to time. But if you want to try to go to level cap, this is not the way to get there, because you cast Condemn to save your health, right? You chain enemies to the fucking ground, and for every enemy hit, you get over shields up to a capped point. But at the same time, I'm also health tanking with him. Now, this is kind of a double dip. It doesn't work so great, because if you miss casting, the higher level you get, the more damage you take, and the quicker your health goes away. But Arcane Blessing, for example, is going to give you 1200 health after you pick up 50 orbs. So it's 24 health per orb, 50 orbs, 1200, 1200 health. So he caps out at like 2080 health, and he caps out at, I want to say, 1750 overshields. Okay, but you have to cast the ability to get it, much like using Hildren, much like using Harrow. Okay, I mean, that's where those abilities come from. And then the whole time I'm bleeding health. Now, where do you get the health? You get the health from killing Xmas. You get 2 health orbs and 1 energy orb. That's great. You could use an equilibrium build and actually help assist with that, but I don't like doing that. Life support pods specifically always drop a health orb, and then you can also use something like Synth Deconstruct. With Frost, Nautilus is a good time, especially since the rework, because Cordon draws everything to you, turn them into popsicles, and then just kill the shit out of them. And you do have the random chance drop of health orbs coming off of any given enemy. But Synth Deconstruct is basically just like Death Cube's energy generator mod, to where it wings a motherfucker, and when the enemy dies, they have a 25% chance to drop a health orb. So Synth Deconstruct is very good for something that is wanting health. Okay. Now, again, am I going to say, hey, this is the sustainable build to go with? Absolutely not. I'm actually going to cover 2, as it says in the title, 2 loadouts. Okay. 2 frames. The weapons are up to you. The weapons are whatever the fuck you're comfortable with, and you do you with that. But these are going to be polar opposites. Again, as the title says, these are complete opposite frames. One is a pure tank frame. The other one is definitely not. First frame. And I've already got weapons on this setup. I already changed it from the video that I shot with it last. Neja. If you want to talk about a frame that is super easy to work with, this is the guy to go with. Okay. Firewalker cleanses status effects, gives you a speed boost, allows heat procs for any enemies that happen to be stupid enough to run across the heat, or you run into while the heat is going. It's a good time. Blazing Chakram. You hit enemies, you get a damage buff. Okay, the minor health orb chance drop, minor energy orb chance drop, but you allow for a bunch of damage vulnerability. Okay, basically meaning they fucking die. And it's also, like, if you really want to use it as such, which, given the range that I have, it's really not going to work all that great. But you can use it as a traversal device as well. Basically, throw frisbee, grab frisbee, aim glide, have a nice day. I'm not so good with that one. I can do it, but I preferably just use it for its boosted damage function. Warding Halo is basically like casting a primary armor over top of your fucking armor. Okay? So basically, everything's got a hit Warding Halo, then whatever's left out of Warding Halo, which if I remember correctly is 90 or 95% damage reduction. I want to say it's 95. But whatever gets through Warding Halo then hits your armor or your shields, depending on what it is. I mean, like slash damage is, slash and toxin are pretty much just going to get straight through. But it pretty much just slows everything the fuck down. And with the build that I have at 271% ability strength, the fucking Warding Halo amount starts at 15,358. But any damage intaking while you're casting this ability is multiplied by 6.78 times. So, I mean, just math that out in your fucking head. If you get hit with 100,000 points of damage, okay, that's going to be 678,000 armor that you're going to get. It's a good time. And yes, it can happen. If you happen to get shot by Malice while you're casting this shit, yeah, it can happen. And then, of course, I've got Roar on here rather than using Divine Spears, because I personally think Divine Spears is garbage and compared to something that can just give you raw damage output. Build just like I showed in the Archon, pure armor, Tau Forged shards on here, giving me a 86.2, I think. Yeah, 86.2% damage reduction. Again, Toxin Slash are always a threat, hence Arcane Grace and Adaptation both being on here. And yes, I'm using Controlled Slide because I don't like the slidies, but at least I'm not getting cut by the nuts. By Controlled Slide at least gives you the same thing that Power Drift would give you, which is the 15% ability strength increase. So you're not really losing anything per se, like, to a point, it, like, depending on what you're wanting to do, because, like, Prime Surefoot, it's out the window. As long as you have Warding Halo, you're immune to knockdown, so it doesn't matter. So, but even further into this, Molt Augmented takes you into that next step of adding an additional 60% ability strength, putting you up in a range of 331% ability strength, so that is a whole lot of Warding Halo once you've got 250 kills. I know people are going to ask, this is the high strength build. It's tanked efficiency, tank duration, and 370% ability strength, which would put you at 430% ability strength once Molt Augmented is built up. It's really kind of silly, but it works. Okay. The whole, I can tell you this, the whole reason why Prime Flow is on here is because the ability casting costs so much more. I actually had to put Dispensary on this motherfucker just to help with energy orbs because they weren't dropping enough. So, hence why there's a little bit of duration still on the build. Okay, just some. So, it is what it is. Personally, I like the Archon Killer build, works really good. You know, you don't have to put anything into energy and it's a good fucking time. So enough jabbering on. We're going to take this cocksucker to the Kuva Fortress because that is where a ton of slash procs hit. Okay, like if you really want to test the survivability of your frame at its just peak performance, take it to the Kuva Fortress if you're going to test for something that just cuts straight sundering through your armor. Survivability in other ways, like not much stops Toxin. Aside from Hildren's passive, not much really stops Toxin, so like going to infested missions and things like that, really, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those, you just hope adaptation kicks in or you pop in your operator.
Then steal their Kuva catalysts.
So here we go. And yeah, I'm just using the Tenant Archiplasmor and the Tenant Planks. I'm not using any Incarnon weapons. I don't want it to be too nuts. No, guys, there was a noise. Everybody get ready to shoot. I know you heard that. Really? All that lineup, and I get that. Here, we'll try to avoid using the glaive, okay? Watch this. Good time. Oh, he think he funny. So they just do a little bit of this, and now they don't like me. Seeing like the whole traversal thing, you can do that. Kind of blink around, kind of like Kalervo's, the hold ability for Kalervo's first ability. Two shots on an Eximus, have a nice day. I mean, here, just to send the proof home. Here, do this, and then alt fire of the Tenant Planks. Nighty night, boys. Have a nice day. He good for this, and obviously not hard to build him. I mean, yeah, it takes a couple of Umbra Forma to get up to this kind of level of strength. You don't even need this kind of level of ability strength, truth be told. It's very helpful if you like just not having to cast Warding Halo near as much, but having a little bit of duration on here, just for Roar to have some time on it is helpful. But if you don't want to use Roar, it's unnecessary. Bruh. Hey fellas, let's have a chat about this, okay? Everybody just be on fire, okay? Everybody be on fire. Let's just all play. Yeah, bud. There you go. Come on.
Prepare for life support.
Come on, do it. Do it. You pussy. Oh, you couldn't have cast that. Wow. No, this motherfucker just knew. He was like, no. Stupid gesture just popped like a pimple.
Another life support
free rides.
is now available.
Oh, of course I did that. Here, have that. Bro, I meant to hit you, not everybody around you. Stupid. Come on. Come on, Acolyte. Come on. Everybody take my armor down. Cool. Take the armor down. Take the armor down. Let's see what I can get out of this asshole if I can survive long enough. That didn't work. Oh no, it did. Look at that. 167. I'm alright with
that. Additional life support has arrived.
Oh, come on, water boy. See, and this is where a Panzer comes in real handy. Now, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Now you see, the life support drops. Not great that round, right? Hence why a lot of people don't really dig doing survivals for level cap, because it's a lot of running around and getting life support drops. And not every round will be that way. Okay? Really won't. God, you know, I'd really like to not fall off and lose all that armor. Just putting it out there. So we're going to go to a polar opposite frame, and I'm going to use Ani for the next frame. And the reason being is because I want the wide open spaces and the potential to really kind of arc my ass in a spot and stay out of the line of fire. We'll discuss the reason as to why in just a moment. And yes, because we're covering 2 frames and everything else, this video is going to take, hey look, 404 kills. 404 error. So, simplicity, right? Like, bunch of, and these don't even have to be Tau Forge shards. It helps, but it's not necessary. So, our other victim is Octavia. I don't even give a shit about the weapons. You can put trash on her, okay? You really can. Octavia's mallet is basically, here, guys, look, this makes noise. And then you get a blast damage multiplier, which is kind of, that's just attacking enemies. I replaced her stupid resonator, which annoys the shit out of me by dragging enemies away from the mallet to begin with. Even though it does give buffs, that's fine. I can still live without it, trust me. Put Nourish on here specifically for energy usage in case I have to do excessive casting for some reason. And viral damage is nice if I need weapons. Metronome. This is a great time. Okay. I mean, You get speed, you get multi-shot, you get melee damage. Yeah, it's a good time. And then the amp overall damage multiplier. Yeah. I mean, she just really just makes everything so much better. The only downside to Octavia is very simple. Crossfire. Okay? You do not want to be in the line of fire with Octavia because of the build that you have to do, and I'm sorry I didn't show it, I'll show it when we're done with this. The build that you have to do ends up being kind of a squish build. Now, you would expect that from a frame that's very much dependent on ability casting. Okay? A lot of ability cast frames are just not very high health, they're not very high shields even. With her function of just being able to spam crouch and here I'm fucking invisible, life is good. Like, it's just not a big deal. Okay, so where are these dickheads gonna come from?
I'm sending life support capsules your way.
Oh, I guess I bullet jumping's in here. That's a good time. Okay, we are invisible. Okay, so let's find a nice little spot here. Yep, this will work right here. So, what I do is I just basically line up my shot, throw these bitches out there, and just stay out of the fucking way. Just did that. Stupid, you threw a fucking grenade out? Are you kidding me right now? The only downside is actually seeing... Thank you. What if I do this and this?
Get ready for a capsule.
See, I just don't like this spot. I really don't. Oh, here, hold on. Let's try this. Should keep me out of the line of fire. My area of effect is quite large.
Activating it will buy you more time.
Big kick is being sure that you are in a good spot to not get yourself all fucked up, right? And I get this is not everybody's, you know, way to play. This is a very sleepy way to farm. It's very, very slow pace. Like, this is just this is like my preferable way that if I really just don't want to do a lot, this is my way of just kind of going and chilling the fuck out and saying, nah, we're good. Kind of curious, actually, if I can find a better spot. Is this a better spot? Nope, that is.
Life support incoming.
Definitely not a better spot. Over this way. Oh, a locker room. This is a lot better. Maybe. So what's funny is that I can literally just stand over here and just wait for the life support drops to hit.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
As long as I'm not in the line of fire, life is good. Alright, let's see where the hell I cast it. Oh, there it is. Okay, see, you go... Oh, nope, I don't want that. See, they're so focused on the zoomy zooms and the thumpy thumps. Have a Coke and a smile. Oh look, I get to cast an ability. And spam crouch. And yes, my Octavia build has modified some. Here, I know what I can do. Let's just go ahead and work on my bullet jumps here. Eat a Nightwave while we're doing it. Okay, so we're actually not going to worry about bullet jumps now.
The raid is off to a successful start.
I mean, by misery?
Go to extraction.
Yes, this is a Torrid. There's so many weapons that I could put on her, and they just get made better by Octavia because she exists. And yes, I know, I could spam crouch in a fucking arrow. I really don't give a shit. You really can. You can just bullet jump upwards, spam crouch while you're flying through the fucking air, and you'll re-engage the invisibility. It's awesome. So before we exit out of this video, we will just cover what this build is. And it's like I said, damn the weapons. The weapons are coming down to your choices, okay? Because both of these frames are giving damage, damage buffs. They're giving, potential healing buffs, just depending on the frame, sheer survivability or survivability by being sleuthy and sneaky. So the build in itself is very simple. We have ability strength, ability duration, ability duration, ability duration, and then just a little bit of casting speed because I want everything fast with Octavia. I really do. Is the casting speed necessary? Abso-fucking-lutely not. It is just my personal preference. You could put another one on there for duration and make it even longer. It's a good time. Because her abilities are 39.5 seconds long for the first and the third ability, and I want to say it's like 58.9 for the fourth. Yeah, 39.3, 39.3, and 58.9. So 58.95. It's basically 59 seconds. This is the build. Okay. You can take this a step further. Okay. You really can, because you got 9 points up here. If you form a this, and you form a down here, you could run an adaptation, forego. I just did this honestly for the duration. Damn the health buff. I don't give a shit because you're invisible. I mean, you can have no health, anything on here. It doesn't matter. But basically, you form a this slot, you form a this slot, and then you can put Prime Sure-Footed on here if you prefer. But the 15% ability strength is kind of nice to have, and the 30% chance to resist knockdown is okay, I guess. I mean, you can put Cunning Drift on here to increase the range to a ridiculous level if you really choose to do so. But honestly, I find that 235% ability range is more than enough for her. Molt Augmented and Arcane Energize, and I know Arcane Energize is a big ask. What you can do instead is, instead of the ability strength and the casting speed, you could just do 2 ambers for 50% effectiveness on energy orbs instead. And that kind of wants to act more like a forced Arcane Energize. Basically, you pick up an energy orb, instead of getting 25, you get 50 energy times 2. So you get 100 energy every time you pick a fucking energy orb. So, just saying, I mean, it's legitimately a thing that you can do. You sacrifice a little bit of ability strength. No, it is not going to kill the build. In any fucking way will it kill the build. So, it's something you can do in lieu of having Arcane Energize. Just saying. But these are 2 extremely good survivable, oh my god, survival frames. One highly ability based but absolutely destructive to a large area of the map, and the other one is just basically shoot me in the fucking face and I will shoot you back for good measure. Take it for what you will. It's a great time with either one of these frames. Just don't get in the path of bullets of this one, and the other one, definitely get in the path of the bullets, because it just makes you stronger. So, as far as your armor. So that's pretty much it. So folks, thanks very much for watching. As always, we'll catch you in the next one, all right?